Hi, I'm Chris.
Julie.
Hi, I'm Lee.
And Mike.
And together, hybrid.
Indeed.
Hybrid.
So tell us about your music. How do you describe it?
Are we doing all these again? Right, okay. I'm trying to remember what we said. It's basically based on house music, but it's an amalgamation of breaks, a lot of new school kind of touches. Basically, it was
Hybrid.
Yeah, a hybrid of different styles. There's a lot of too many styles to mention really. It's the kind of stuff that all four of us have been into for God knows how long. I mean, a lot of our stuff starts out with early hardcore and then progressing through house and through breaks and through drum and bass. So it's all those influences and more.
Anything in particular? Any particular tracks or seminal albums you remember listening to?
I think there's just been so many. I mean, there's a lot of...
Bruno's album was on heavy rotation while we were doing it.
Yeah, I mean, recently I've listened to a lot of Ram Crew, Andy C stuff. Then also at the same time I listened to some mixes by sort of Origin and a lot of the other Chelsea boys. Well, Tipper on the break side, and there's a lot. We listen to quite a wide range, to be honest. So.
Cool. What do you all do individually in the as a band?
What, live or in the studio?
Or both?
Well, basically got different roles. I mean, in the studio I do quite a lot of programming, but also the three of us actually do programming and ideas. Live I play keyboards. Julee obviously sings. Chris plays keyboards. Jamie and Al, who aren't here at the moment, Jamie is scratch DJ and percussionist, and Al plays electronic percussion.
Cool. So it's quite similar your live setup to your studio setup.
No, not really. I mean, it's the studio setup is based around computers, so a lot of work goes into that. So even once we're recording live parts, then it gets kind of tweaked and messed around with the computers. But then the live setup, the computers are only there to kind of keep everything working in sync. So it's then you're adding keyboard players and then the scratch side of it. I mean, Jamie plays scratches on the album, but he does a load of scratching live, and then we have percussion on the album done by loops and samples and made up. Whereas Jamie will do that, and then Al's recreating a lot of the drum samples. So it's a totally different kind of set, really.
Brilliant. What about your the classical sort of influences, the famous hybrid orchestra?
Is that what they're calling it now? Well, a lot of that came about through this guy Sasha Putnam, who scored a lot of strings for us. We wanted to use an orchestra from the word go, and it's just like a few lucky coincidences got us into using the Russian Federal Orchestra. But then Sasha did a lot of the scoring, so he took the basic ideas that we had and kind of new embellishments on and new kind of retouches and made different instruments work within that. So I'm just using the strings, we got to use the woodwind, the brass, the flutes, the percussion section, the whole 9 yards. A lot of it for kind of very film score effects as well. So there's kind of high dissonant strings that kind of scrape against one another. And those to give tension, there's lots of kind of tam scrapes and different effects that you'd sort of expect to see in a Jaws film or something like that, but we actually used it just for kind of dramatic punctuation, if you like.
We used a lot. There was 80 of them, so we had to use them all.
80?
80, or was there 85?
85 of them,
Disappointing.
You talk about tension and Jaws, like there is quite a dark element in your music. Where do you think that comes from?
Hardcore.
Hardcore.
The Ram Crew stuff, I don't know.
I don't think an awful lot of it is that. There's probably one or two tracks in the album that are kind of a bit darker, but most of it is quite laid back. Really, it's
very dramatic.
Yeah,
It's very dramatic. So it gets all the highs and lows of any kind of emotion.
I think you've got everything in between, really. So there's a lot of different styles and different Julee, so it's kind of emotion, different levels in there. So there's a lot which is supercharged, like Theme for Wide Angle, and then Dream of Dreams is kind of, even though it sounds quite hard and quite tough, it's really very blissed out, very smooth sounding track. Synchronons sort of on the sort of electro funk kind of crossover, really. So there's quite a wide range of sounds.